Hi there. I'm Nu-Trix, and today we're going to look into the latest version of Arturia's FX Collection. Now it's FX Collection 6. If I'm not mistaken, FX Collection 5 had 34 different effects plugin in it, and now we have 5 more included into the FX Collection 6. So now we should have like 39. 3 of them have been released since, between the release of 5 and 6. We had the mix drum, the bus transient, and the tape J37. These already existed. Now they're part of the bundle, but there's actually 2 new plugins, and that's the one we're going to look at today and listen to what they do. EFX Ambient and Pitch Shifter 910. Both of them are more, I would say, creative plugins. So let's just dive in right away. And at the same time, I'm actually practicing something. I'm using my Poly and Play USB output straight into Live. So I'm processing these tracks separately in Live. So that's going to be a different way for me to practice all of this. So let's just look at what we have. If we start the beat without anything else, we have this little thing playing here. So let's start with this one. If we want to put effects on this one, let's try the pitch shifter right away. If I turn it on, well, it's a simple one when you look at the screen itself, and you have advance. So you have inputs. You have the input, so you can drive it. That's what we hear in this one. The screamo is mostly drive and level. There's 2 versions of the vintage 10 and vintage 24. You always have at the bottom the information, and Arturia is great for teaching you how to use it. So you can always go and say tutorial, and you'll have the quick tour, the main panel, and all the ways of using it. Because what's interesting about this one is, of course, you've got control over the pitch, formant. You can link it together. You can change so the pitch going up or down. You can have a pitch delay, which is pretty cool. But also you have at the top, when you activate the advanced window, you've got vibrato. You can control the speed and all that stuff. You got a voice mode. You can have a unison mode. So you have your sound bigger, kind of more of an ensemble type of sound. But this one here is bizarre or different. You've got MIDI in. So you can send MIDI, and in real time, it will affect the way it works. It will, change the pitch shift up and down because of this. So if you want to know how this works, it's always better to go through the MIDI in, the MIDI out, MIDI routing guide, and go through that, because it really changes between different DAWs. It won't work the same way. So take the time to really go through this, because it's really cool. But just let's listen to what it does so you understand. So by default, you go, well, okay, it's for pitch instrument. Yes, but not always. Let's say I like, on this one, I like something like the kind of a weird fuzzy chorus. Okay, let's keep it like that for this one. What we can do also, there's a snare here. You can have a pitch shift on this one, because there's drum. So if you deactivate this one, let's turn this one off. Without, with. So the pitch is big. Spring sound. And if you want it to be more noisy, by default, we think about instruments that are melodic. But in the case of the snare, you could also have it become bigger. Even use something like the delay if you want. I'm going to go with ambient now. So ambient It's going to be just on the piano again. Let's turn this one on. So what this is a plugin, I would say creative plugin that uses different ways of modifying the way the sound comes in. So different ways to stutter, defrag, separate, modify the sound as it comes in. And then it goes into a big spacey reverb delay type of thing here. So by default, you have just space. You can bring it down. And now you hear what the first one does. And here you're controlling between the two of them. So let's say I want to hear more of the tone. So we hear more of this. And if you want to hear more of it, or more of the original sound. It's kind of a dry and wet for this one here. You have here the same thing. But here the space also brings the pitch up. Now, there's an advanced window like everything else. And in the advanced, you see that there's a lot of things you can do here. Of course, you've got control for each of them separately. You have 4 different sources of modulation. You can decide envelope follower, sequencer, function, random, and then you can just pick and decide it's going to be affecting this one here. And this is how much it's going to do it. You can have these weird reaction because of this, because there's a lot of things that it can be just following the input, which is really cool, or it can be something that is synced to the tempo. So it's really just there's a lot of controls here at the advanced window. So you have the rate here. And you have these different type of modification of the sound. So this one is a resonance one. So you hear the resonance of it. You hear the distortion of it. At maximum pitch. Want to retrig or not? It becomes that kind of feedback. And it comes from this sound that if you bring it down, you still have that little piano playing on top. And if you bring the space in, it's going to have a wash of a sound, and then you can bring the volume up. And on that side, you can control the size of it, the decay, the width, and modulation. And as you move this thing here, you see, look at these little dots here. This one here, you have this one here. And as you move this, you're controlling these values. And from top to bottom, you have the information here, but you see that this value here is moving. And I think on this one is moving. So as you go like this, and you can lock it, say, well, don't move this anymore. And as you move this, now this one is not affected anymore. Let's go back to how these, so this one is more sound like something that is under the water. Codec, you have crushing, MP3 type of sound, and you want it to freeze. This is a cool thing to automate because you can create these very nasty glitches here. Organist is basically bringing in harmonics. Siren, we did this. Woven. You have kind of these grains that you're playing with. And if you want feedback of it, same thing with the reflex. Now this one is a octaver. Have feedback again. And the rate fast. This is really weird. Let's try this. So this can take any type of sound and makes it into a wash of sound with evolution of weirdness. Because of this modifying the sound before it gets into the space, and that anything can be moved by the modulators, is just an evolving ambient. It goes with the name, FX Ambient. It can be a very good background sound to whatever happens on the front, because it creates that very evolving soundscape that is slow. Let's say we bring down the tempo down here. This is it. This is what you find in the latest Arturia FX Collection number 6 with 5 new plugins, actually 3 existing ones that are now bundled with it. The bundle now has almost 40 different effects, really deep and complex. Great choice of presets. And don't forget, if you don't understand how one of them works, there's always the tutorial part of the plugin itself that makes you really go through all the little parts to understand how this works and why you would like to use it. And try one that you never tried before. I'm pretty sure you're going to find a way to use it. It doesn't have to be in your face. Use it in a way that it just enhances one part of the sound so that the song is just a slightly better with it. That's it. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.